What's up? How's it going? Welcome to the show. Good to see everybody. Took a little another week. I hope you guys had good weather. It's been fairly decent here. Today it was a little bit of what I like to call Alaska schizophrenic weather, where it's sunny, raining, crazy, windy, sunny, raining, like all on the same day, like at different times. So yeah, just crazy. Just crazy. All right, we got some guys in. Our Sharks fan, Elite Eklund. He's got to hang on to something there. And our boy Logan Hacker. I'll drop the link in the stream later. We were gonna talk about. I was just gonna let Rico and Steve run the show. I was gonna be like, "What do you guys want to talk about? Let's go look at rosters. Who do you like?" I know there's been a couple PTOs and stuff. Phil Kessel still hasn't been signed. It'll be interesting if he plays. But just before we came on, Frank Saravelli from Daily Faceoff broke, and Elliot Friedman had it too, but Frank was first. Sorry, Elliot. And I'll put it up on the screen here for you guys. You got to give Frank the credit because he was on it. Jake Sanderson signs a whopper of an extension, 8 years at $8.05 million for a total of $64.4 million. That kicks in during the 24-25 season. Ottawa has their core locked up. Sanderson will be the fifth player on the roster with the $8 million AAV. I think this is the way of the future. You're going to gamble on this guy having a career, but here, let me throw it up in the chat for you guys here so you can see it. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts?
I think it's a great deal. You're going to avoid one of those things where it's going to be 5-6 years into that contract, and he could have totally be worth an $11-12 million player. So to lock him up means the player's good long term. He likes the stability, likes the way the franchise is going. I mean, Sanderson, I think got over 30 points last year. I think he played just under 80 games. Like, he was creeping into the top 5 in Calder voting, but I think this guy's going to be a pro's pro. I think he's just going to be a good all-around defenseman, like a cornerstone kind of piece to this franchise for a long time. And they paid him like it, and that's cool, man, that he accepted 8 years. That's wicked.
Yeah. Pearlo, what do you got?
I like him even a little more than that. This is a top 2 pairing defenseman. Easy. I'm surprised he would even put pen to paper on this. If it was my son, I'd be like, you're throwing money away. Big time. You're going, like, I love this guy. Absolutely love him. What he did last year at his age for 8 years at $8 million, he's going to be 4 years from now. That's going to look like one of the best.
Is that me? I don't know what's happening. That's not you, Pearlo. I can't mute you or anything. I don't know what's going on. Might just be StreamYard having some problems there, buddy.
Can you hear me now?
That was odd. That I don't know what caused that. Not your fault. That's just the internet, I think.
Anyways, yeah, I love the guy. I think that it's going to be a great deal, an absolutely amazing deal. It's going to be one of those deals.
Hold on, let me see if I remove you, it goes away.
Still
okay, that's bad.
What's going on there?
Okay, something's interfering with your microphone, I think.
Okay, maybe. Let me try to remove some
stuff. It's working fine now. Whatever you did, it's good.
I didn't do anything, so it's working fine now.
Then it wasn't you at all. When I muted you, it didn't stop. So I don't. That's just
now it's fine. Can you hear me fine now?
Yeah, you're good. Rico, can you hear me? You sound great.
Sweet. I think this is going to go down as one of the best deals in a long time. $8 million for this. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you're good. I just wanted to move you back over.
$8 million for Sanderson. Like last year. Last year he was what? How many points did he have last year? At 21 years old.
32 in 77 games.
Yeah, so it's almost a 40-point defenseman. Um, Analytically, he was their best defenseman. I don't even know why you signed this deal. I would not sign this deal if I were him. No way. He's doing a big service to the Ottawa Senators for this deal.
Mm-hmm.
About it. That's
Well,
what
hey, you know what? Some people like that stability too. If somebody threw $8 million for 8 years in front of you, and
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but he's throwing a lot of money
Steve,
out
if you were
too.
21 years old, would you turn 64 million down? I wouldn't turn 4 million down, but I'm just saying.
Well,
You're
I'm not
21
dealing
years
with this.
old and you
It's
get
my agent. It's my agent, and how much
No, I
money I
got
can
you.
make in the long run. I mean, this kid could easily make 12 million down the road, easily. No, I would be very surprised. But now he's got
Pearlo,
it.
he's going to be done with this contract when he's 29, which to me is not old for a defenseman. He's going to be in the prime of his career. So by then, who knows what the salary cap is? He could get 15 million or something. Now, look, I haven't seen it from Sanderson. I love you guys praising him, but he is just 21. I think that we have rushed this position in the NHL a lot now.
He is an above average defenseman at 21 years old already, with a lot of room to grow. Great for them, great for Ottawa. Ottawa just stole a deal here, as far as I'm concerned. Much like the way Buffalo did with Tage Thompson, they just stole this deal.
now who would you compare Jake Sanderson to? Like what type of defenseman do you think he's gonna turn out to be? You think he's gonna be like a Scotty Niedermayer type? Or who do you think when he turns 29 will look back and say, you know what, this guy's kind of similar to this guy? Who do you think he's projected to be?
That's interesting. At 21 years old, I'll just say this: at 21 years old, there's not too many guys that have had numbers like him in the past. Not too many. Like at least McAvoy. At least McAvoy. I would say somewhere around there. Yeah, that's his long term. Maybe with even more offensive. Like he's a guy that could challenge for some Norrises down the road. Like I think he sold himself short, but. On the same note, not everybody needs the money, and they want to do what's great for the team, and he did it. Like right here, he did it.
Yeah. So
I said the same thing when Tage Thompson signed his contract. I said that's like a steal. And look at what's he making, like 7.7 or something like that right now. It's an unbelievable steal. I think it's going to be somewhere like that in a couple of years. It's going to look like that kind of a steal with the cap going up and everything. So. Great deal for Ottawa. Great deal.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was just reading what Pierre Dorion said about him. He said Jake's transition to the pro game has been flawless. He's been a very mature young man who demonstrates a routine and skillful ability to play important minutes with poise, an effortless skater who holds himself to a high standard. He has a talent to be one of the best all-around D-men in the NHL for years to come. We're pleased to have another significant member of our core group of players locked up like Jeremiah said there. That is a big part of your core locked up for a long time.
For sure.
Yeah, I think if Ottawa could get goaltending figured out, the hilarious thing is they traded away a great goalie in Gustafsson. But, they are going to be – so I think, this year they're a playoff team. They're going to be on the cusp anyway. And if they get any decent goaltending, they will be on the cusp. And then if they can figure, that's just where, I know a lot of teams that's, Pittsburgh, definitely goaltending was a huge issue for them. So they re-signed the goalie they had and then got worse defensively, but we'll see how it goes. And they're going to score a lot of goals. I got the Mario Lemieux over my head, so it made me think of Pittsburgh. Columbus, Buffalo, there's a lot of teams in the East that are looking real good, man. So
I was going to
we
say
lost some people. Hopefully, some people come back.
Sorry about that. I think Sanderson's floor is Jonathan Tays, or not Jonathan Tays, but Tays from Colorado. That's his floor. That's like the worst he's going to be. So that would be where I would put him.
Yeah, I mean, I think they probably feel. I think they felt comfortable giving him that money. When I saw the deal, I wasn't shocked. So I think this is the way GMs are going to do business going forward. They're not going to get handcuffed with like what we saw in Toronto with Matthews and Marner. They got overpaid on their bridge deals, in my opinion. And if those guys would have made 8 or 7 in that vicinity, Toronto could have had 3 or 4 more players on that roster that would have helped them win. And I'm telling you right now, when those guys' careers are over, they're going to say, yeah, we got the money, but it didn't mean shit because they didn't win anything. And I hope that's not the case. I hope we see them. But I'm telling you, a lot of people are taking this. And look, is it surprising to you guys that in hockey we're seeing players take a team first? They block 100-mile-an-hour shots with their face to prevent it from going in the net. Like, they're going to – I get them taking less money. I mean, I just think it's a great thing, you know. And I agree with you about Tage Thompson and those deals. Jack Hughes, we're going to look back at those deals and be like, oh my God, they stole these players and they stole them for a long period of time. But if you're those players, if you're healthy and you're still at the level of your game, look, guys, Ovi's 37. Like, he didn't have a horrible year last year. You know, he's a winger, but I'm saying, like, you can play a long time in this league if you take care of your body and you work hard. And Crosby is 36. He looked pretty good last year. You know, I heard Cam Schron say he was underrated. I was like losing my mind. Or was like, okay, Cam, that's not really a hot take, buddy. All I've seen all summer is McDavid, you know, when his deal's up. You know, he's not going to be very old. So I'm telling you the difference. And they're seeing these double digit. So this year was the first year a team won a cup, right? With a player making over. And that was Jack Eichel makes $10 million. But if you compare $10 million now, $10 million is what Ovi was making 9-1 or 9-3 or 9-7, somewhere in there when they won. You know, Crosby was making 8-7. I mean, that's $10 million to me is 8-7 now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just think with the inflation and the cap going up, you're going to see a lot of teams do these long-term deals. It gives the player, look, that money's guaranteed in hockey. So if Sanderson blows out his knee on the ice, you know, not doing something stupid in his personal life or anything. It doesn't, I mean, again, what a hockey players do in the offseason. They golf, you know, maybe jet ski or something, wave run. Pretty hard to get messed up on those unless you're being really careless. So I think it's a great deal for them. And okay, so I wanted to leave the floor open to you guys. What else would you like to talk about? I took a little break from social media and fell into this crack called Starfield. Just been playing a lot of Starfield, fun as hell. Highly recommend if you have an Xbox or PC. I had to buy an Xbox to play it because I was so interested in it, and it was worth every penny. I have had a lot of fun, and I got like 35 hours into it or something. I've just been playing a lot of Starfield. So the weather's been not great, so it's always, I never feel guilty if the weather's crappy. So, and we don't have to have a long show because my wife had to work late, so I'll have to feed my dogs. They eat around this time, but I'm just making them work a little later. They'll just eat a little later.
9 would be good for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So 45 minutes. So my thoughts were we would just go through the rosters if it comes up here and just say, hey, here's the 2024 camp roster, and I have to find it here, guys. Sorry.
One more thing.
Then, we got Darkness. All right, sweet. We got Darkness. I've seen Olsen and or Eklund, Elite Eklund, and then Logan, our guy, our Tampa Bay fan. in the wintertime, I'll start wearing jerseys, different jerseys for different teams we talk about. And, but I just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to talk about what you're looking forward to and, you know, what storylines are going to be interesting. Well, there's a couple here. Here's a good one. Well, let's just go with this. This is from NHL.com. NHL camp rosters announced for return of play. Oh, okay. Never mind. NHL, that's a dead. Okay. Thanks, NHL. Anyway, it looks like Adam got out. Michael Furlan, Louis Eriksson, Brock Besser, Jay Beagle, Justin Bailey. Brock Besser didn't get bought out, did he? He's still in.
No, he's still in Vancouver. Yeah.
Okay. This is probably.
I'll talk a little bit since you're. I think this is going to be one of the biggest, most parity we've seen in the league in a long time.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be tight as heck this year. Like you look in the East, how many teams in the East really are out of it? Like right away, Philadelphia. Who else would be in the East that you would say like there's no chance? Montreal.
Yeah, probably Montreal, Philly, Columbus, maybe. It just depends on if they're.
They've done some stuff there. They could do some stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and
Washington, to me, Washington is out of it. I'm sorry, I know you're a Capitals fan. But
yeah, I mean, I don't think they're out of the playoff mix, but I don't think they're a cup contending team. Barring
no, I mean out of the playoffs. I think Washington is like not.
Yeah, I'm not ready to say that because they've had some drafts. Their talent pool is not like Pittsburgh's. Everybody keeps talking about it's over. They had a top 10 pick. They looks like a man right now. I mean, they were this close to getting Mishkov. And honestly, I'm kind of glad we didn't get him. I like this kid from Massachusetts they got. So I'm not ready to.
I heard their argument, like Backstrom was hurt and Ovechkin had his, problems with his father, of course, who passed away. And Oshie was hurt. But I think that very well could happen again. Those guys are hanging by a thread.
Yeah, Tom Wilson missed half the season. The Caps were like decimated by injuries. There were other teams that had worse injuries by the time it was said and done. And they were in the playoffs for a good portion of the year. They're going to get goaltending. Both Lindgren and Kemper played well. Kemper played way well. And John Carlson was out. Yeah. He got the thing. They were missing. Yeah. He's a number 1 D on every team in this league that doesn't have Alex Pietrangelo.
I agree. Yeah.
So, he is so good on the power play for us.
I think he's better than
he came from Toronto and just tore it up. Now he was a big time minus, but I think he had 9 points and just explosive. Yeah, now part of that is Laviolette loves to play the players in the system. We're gonna see. I'm going to tell you, the Rangers back end, Adam Fox going to win the Norris again. Now, I don't know if they're going to. I don't know if they're going to.
Back end is fantastic.
Better. I don't know if the Rangers are going to be better, but
I agree.
I'm having a problem. This is so ridiculous. NHL, get your shit together. Are you serious?
Are you looking up the NHL Network? Because they just changed their whole system.
No, I can't even get it to open.
Really? What are you looking at?
I can't even get it to open. So
I think I can get mine to open. You're looking at the standings last year?
You can share all I wanted. No, I don't care about any of that. It's fucking worthless. Sorry. It's worthless. It means nothing. Mm-hmm. No, because it's different teams. It means absolutely jack and shit. So, Oh, hey, Hugh to the Hoob. I remember Pearl bets on NHL videos. Yep. Well, Pearlo's still doing his bets thing, man. Follow him at there you go. I'll put it up for you, Pearlo. Yep. Well, you used to have a big fan following, didn't you? Back in the day, you were pretty good there.
Yeah, beepalpicks.com. Yeah. You can get in there for free. I'll send you a link if you want it later. Right
I
now,
put it up. I put it up on the screen.
I'm doing it completely for free right now. So if you want to get in there, you can go in. Everything's for free until hockey season. So we're kicking ass at baseball and everything. But I want you to come in and take a look at how much money can be made. But as far as Washington is concerned, I know I realize everything there that what happened last year and all that. It's just I think the East has got so much better, and there's too much of a chance that there's going to be a lot of injuries.
Well, Florida's going to be I'll tell you right now, Florida's going to have a tough time making them.
Florida could be out. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
they're going to have a tough time making.
Honestly, here's a hot take. I think Tampa could miss. I know.
You know what? You know what? They don't have the depth scoring. They're going to miss Corey Perry's grittiness in the lineup.
Yeah.
The Atlantic is now become that. When the Metro, when it was the Caps and the Pens and the Rangers with Lundqvist and the, Stepan and Callahan and that group of players, the Metro was the better division in the East. It's the Atlantic now. I don't think Toronto got worse. Toronto got better. They may have been better analytically, but they got better players.
They got better for the regular season, yeah, for sure.
I actually think Domi and Bertuzzi are going to translate to the playoffs for them more than anything.
I disagree, but that's okay.
Well, Bertuzzi tore it up for the Bruins. I don't know what you were watching this year, but he was great for them.
Domi for sure not. For sure not.
He was also very good for Dallas in the playoffs.
He's an offensive dude. He found his spots. It's okay. I don't agree with that.
Dallas did not lose because of Max Domi. I'll just say that.
Edmonton, Toronto final, Pearlo. You heard it here.
Oh,
Edmonton, Toronto.
Sportsnet would be creaming their pants if that was the case. Rico, they would just be losing it. And I'll tell you what, I don't think that would be a boring final in the U.S. because Matthews is a U.S. player, okay? And, I think there's draw there. And the Maple Leafs are kind of like the Cubs. They're starting to turn into the Cubs, right? The Red Sox and the Cubs. It's been so long since anybody can remember them winning a championship. Like I wasn't alive. It happened 10 years. Pearlo, are you that old? You never saw him win. You're an Ontario boy from back in the day.
No, Toronto.
You never saw Toronto win a cup, right?
That was like what?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I didn't think you were. So
I think it's New Jersey in the East, and then I don't know in the West.
Yeah, see, I like New Jersey, but I think they're a year away. But we'll see, man. Like they kept everybody too. They kept Meyer. I'm telling you, these trade deadline deals are not so. I'll put up what you said, Darkness, because I know you're a noted baseball fan. So we'll go through the rosters here. We'll go for the East. We're just going to go through the Metro and we'll look at the roster. I know it's not up to date. I finally got it to work. So here's what Darkness says. He says, the Leafs are the Red Sox of hockey, especially if you consider the Habs are like the Yankees. That's a great comparison. Mm-hmm. Exactly. The Red Sox had years and years. The only difference is the Leafs didn't trade away some generational player away to Montreal. Montreal just used to hog them all. I feel like you could take 3/4 of Montreal's championships and throw them out the window.
I kind of feel that way too.
They controlled all the good players. The players they gave. Now, you could make the argument that Montreal has given some off. They gave away Marcel Dion. They've given, they got rid of Waugh. I mean, they did win 2 championships with him. But I like what they're doing there too. They're another team, and they're another team in the Atlantic. So here's the Carolina's going to be there, guys. I think they're going to be there
somewhere. I don't know.
I think we're sleeping on them. Nobody's talking about them. I'm talking about they're going to be in the Final Four.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
So Columbus, maybe they're a playoff team, but all they could do is go up, right? New Jersey, I'll be surprised if they're not there again. Yeah. The Islanders, I worry about them.
No.
I think they are going to really take a step back.
What do you
They
think,
won't
Rico,
get
about the Islanders? Do you think?
Well, the Islanders, the thing with them is they have Sorokin, right?
Yeah.
So you can get them in.
Yeah.
Good.
The Islanders are going to be teetering on mediocrity, probably just flirting maybe a couple games out of the last wild card if they really try, because Sorokin's going to carry them and their system will, but they won't have the scoring to go any further or get into the playoffs.
I don't even think the Islanders system
gets
them there. I don't think they have the players to play the system that they want to play. People think, oh, they're a great defensive team, but actually their players are not that. They're trying to play something that their players aren't. I don't see the Islanders doing well. And I agree with you, Rico. Sorokin, to me, he should, even if they come close to the playoffs, he should still win the Vezina next year.
He should have won it last year. I'm sorry. He should have won it.
He's the best goaltender in the league.
No offense to the Boston guy that won it.
Mark, yeah.
It was Sorokin. It was Sorokin every day. I mean, I watched the Islanders just do nothing offensively game after game after game after game and win them because Sorokin was incredible.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Jay Fresh, the War, I don't have all that shit memorized. I bet you he's up there.
Oh, yeah. He's the best goaltender.
That's why the Rangers will be a playoff team. They're the next team because they have the second best goalie, it's Shesterkin. And you could make an argument it's 1A, 1B. Because I don't think the Rangers are as stout defensively as they sometimes get credit. Yeah, Trouba's pretty physical defenseman, and I really like Keandre Miller. And Fox is incredible moving the puck and just so smart. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, this I love you, Darkness. This is perfect. Allmark put up better numbers, but it's close enough when you consider the value to his team. Sorokin should have won. I think, honestly, it's a Russian thing. I think it's literally they don't like Russians. A lot of the Canadian media likes to shit on Russians, and they shouldn't do that. They should just look at the hockey player on the ice. It should not matter. Philly, not a playoff team. Agree. Pittsburgh, I'm on the fence with Pittsburgh.
I agree.
I just think, yeah, okay, they have Carlson and Letang. They're the same player, except for Carlson's way more gifted offensively, and I mean, Letang's not great defensively either. So, and he missed a lot of the year last year,
He's
too.
Better than
I think
Carlson,
Dumoulin. I think Dumoulin was not 100%, and I think it showed. They just had a lot of injuries, and they don't have any depth scoring, and they didn't really – I don't know. I like Achari. I like some of the things that Dubas did there, but we're going to see. Okay, the Caps, like I said. I think they're in contention for a playoff just like last year. I'm not saying whatever. Okay. Let's see the games. Okay. In the Atlantic, Bruins, I don't think they are.
It's that mystique.
I don't think they are.
Right, Rico? It's the mystique of Boston, is it?
Bergeron and Krejci are a huge loss.
Yeah, and I was bad talking Boston last time we came on, but you know what? Until they don't do it, I'm not going to trash talk them anymore. I mean, I don't think anybody's been named to C yet. I don't think they've handed that to Marchand yet, whether they will or not. But I think until Boston proves that they can't do it with that leadership group, because that's what Marchand had said too. He's like, I'm not worried about having a C on my chest because we had a leadership group there and everybody kind of led by committee and stuff as well too. You know, different people wore the A while they were there. And so, I mean, until Boston shows me they're not going to do it, I'm not going to count them out of at least scratching into a playoff spot somewhere ahead of like the Rangers or Washington or somewhere in a wild card. But I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that sentiment from Maple Leafs Nation. I understand that. I just think Krejci and Bergeron are going to be big time losses. And I just don't know if you're going to see it from Zacha and who else they bring in for a sec. We'll look at the rosters if we get time. Okay. Yeah. Perlo, give quick thoughts on Boston because this will be way more than an hour show.
You guys said pretty much everything. I won't go down.
Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo Sabres. I say yes. They're going to be in the playoffs. Rico.
They need goaltending. They need their goaltending.
Kevin Levi.
They're both young, unproven. I mean, if they could stand up and play behind that young team, the possibilities are endless for Buffalo this year. They're going to be a run and gun team. They're going to be fun to watch. Owen Power on the back end. And they're going to be a good team this year. They just need the goaltending. It's inexperience back there, so as long as they get the goaltending, I think Buffalo's going to be all right.
Yeah. What do you think, Pearlo?
Well, if you think Buffalo and Ottawa are going to make it, then you're thinking Tampa or Boston is not. Right. So that's
Or Florida.
Or Florida, one of the two.
Here's
I think Buffalo's got a really good chance to make it. I don't think they're going to do anything in the playoffs at all. But like you said, Devin Levi, if there's any goaltender we've seen in the last 7 or 8 years that can do it at his age, this is the guy. This guy is something else, man. So I love the guy. Unfortunately, I don't know what not Evison. What's the coach there? It seems like to me that he's trying to Granato. It seems to me that he's just trying to get them so confident in their offense that he'll start bringing defense in afterwards, and this may be the year. So you could see something where all of a sudden they have this downturn mid-season and then turn into a playoff team that can hurt people. They're the X team to me. They're either the team that just blows everybody away offensively and does what Florida did and then loses in the first round, or there's an adjustment and they get in around 5 or 6 and they could do some special things. They have a lot of unbelievable talent on that Buffalo team. Owen Power, I mean, come on. Yeah. Owen Power, that kid is.
They're so set up the left side forever. Hey, yeah. I'll say, do you ever seen the movie Major League? Mm-hmm. And the coach is like, we need to have something that galvanizes it for us to win, the owner. I just wonder, Rick Jeanneret passing, such a legendary Hall of Famer.
Oh, that too,
yeah. Yeah, I just wonder if, and Buffalo's never won. I just wonder if they are going to be the football team's good. The vibes are good in Buffalo. I just wonder if they just really go on a magical run. And I'm not saying they're a cup team, but if they stay healthy, I think they can play with anybody. So, and it's just,
I like them better than Ottawa. I like them better than Ottawa.
Well, right today, I would agree. I think their D is a little bit further along, but I mean, Owen Power is not older than Sanderson. So,
no.
Okay. Here's the interesting one. And I'm not going to say, I want to hear what you guys say. Detroit Red Wings. And I heard today, to caveat this, on Spit and Chicklets, that there's rumors going around that if he's healthy, when his hip is cleared up somewhere in January, February timeframe, Patty Kane might sign with the Red Wings.
Oh,
because him and DeBrincat had a lot of chemistry in Chicago, and now Alex DeBrincat is a Detroit Red Wing. So, and they could use some dynamic wing player, and probably could have fit him in really cheap. And I wonder if he's going to be, that would be a good move. Anyway, what do you guys think? Rico,
the Wings aren't there yet. I think they're moving in the right direction. They got DeBrincat at a really good deal too, at a discount. So you need 35 to 40 goals from him. Comfer was a nice add. I think Larkin will grow into a number one center. He'll just get even better, I think. And, you got some veterans there, help the young guys along. But I never heard the Patty Kane thing. I always thought he was maybe just going to go back to the Rangers, but maybe he didn't like it there. Obviously, it didn't work out there. He got hurt. But, yeah, him going to Detroit for the stretch run, I don't think it's going to make him a playoff team or anything like that. But, if it could galvanize a team a little bit, get the Brinket going, keep him happy. But it's just they're going in the right direction, Detroit. I think it's just at what speed are they doing it in?
Steve, go ahead.
I just can't see this being the year. There's too many, especially to start, there's too much chemistry issues going on with all that change up, and my gosh. I did hear something interesting. As of right now, I'm hearing that Sherratt may be their 7th defenseman, and that is about what he is. I don't know what Yzerman was thinking when they gave him that big deal, but it's just a mishmash of players. Like you're asking me what they're going to be. I have no idea because there's so much different change in that lineup now. I think they're going to need at least 20 games just to get the chemistry of whatever they're going to be and their identity down and all that kind of stuff.
At least they're starting the season with that.
Right.
It's not
give them next year, but this year it would be miraculous to have all that kind of change in that division and be able to get over all of that and get the chemistry down and be able to make a playoff spot. I just can't see it. I kind of see where he's going, but it just seems like a mishmash of players to me at the moment right now.
Our friend Darkness in the chat said it all. He doesn't trust their goaltending situation. The Jelkovic didn't work out for them. That's unfortunate. So, Gabby, I know you came in last time right as I closed the show. I'm so sorry. Appreciate you coming in. He says they seem like a 500 team worse than Montreal. Speaking of which, we're going to get to Montreal. Florida Panthers.
Give her Pearlo.
Go ahead, Steve.
Oh, you're going to give it to me?
Yeah, good.
Well, it depends on when their defensemen come back because that defense is looking pretty weak. There's a whole lot of question marks in that lineup. I think Kachuk's going to be fine. He's just a beast. He's just so beastly that he'll be fine. I think their forward depth is good. But you have no Ekblad. Larson is in there, and you have no Montour for who knows how long. I still think they're going to be right. They'll probably do something similar to what they did last year. Just scrape in somewhere around there. And that's the thing is, I think in that division, almost every team is trying to scrape in, except for Toronto. Like almost everyone. The Atlantic is kind of the weak sister in my mind.
Yeah. I just say Ottawa and Buffalo are going to be a lot better. We already spent some time on Ottawa, so we're going to skip them because we talked about the Jake Sanderson deal. If you're just joining us, thank you for coming in. Rico, go ahead and give us your thoughts on Florida.
Florida, I think they're going to be on the outside looking in. One thing I think with Florida is they're probably more banged up than we even think. Like going on a deep playoff run like they did, then the way that they played, I think took a lot out of them, man. And adding a guy like Oliver Ekman-Larsson, the guys didn't have many miles on him, not much physicality to his game last year. He was playing in Vancouver, for God's sake. So he then played in the playoffs. So he'll probably log a lot of minutes. He'd be a bit of a motivated player, I think, there. And the other one I'm thinking of is Spencer Knight. I think him coming back and maybe becoming a number one goalie again. I know he's been skating with the team this summer, so it'd be pretty interesting to see what he's got to bring to the team this year, too, after Bobrovsky's had a lot of miles on his legs this last winter as well.
I have a hot take on this. I think if they're out, they're going to move Bob and take half his salary. They'll eat him $5 million because that'll open up $5 million for him. And then next year, when the cap goes up by $4 or $5 million, that's $10 million in space they'll have. Even if they have to eat, I think Bob's deal's over at the end of next year anyway, so it's not much. So I think if they're out of it because of the other goalie, I'm sorry, his name's. I'll pull it up real quick.
Spencer Knight.
No, not Spencer Knight.
Stolars. Stolars.
No,
they got Stolars.
I played in the playoffs for him last year.
I don't even think he's with them anymore. That's
what was his
name? Lion.
Alex Lyon.
Yeah. Lyon. I don't even think Alex Lyon is with them anymore.
Yeah. So right now on their roster, they're not listing Spencer Knight. They're listing Bobrovsky, Stolars, and Ludovic Weber from Czech Republic. And I ain't talking crap about this guy because you don't want to talk smack about Czech goalies. You never know. You might be the Chicago Blackhawks and trade away the greatest goalie of all time.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah. They added Rasmus Asplund. I think he played for
Buffalo.
Was he with Buffalo last year? Okay. They had Lucerina was hurt. They got a lot of young guys they're bringing in. When I start seeing birth dates 2003, 2001, that's not even that young anymore, is it really? Ryan McAllister from London, Ontario. He's gonna be on the team. It looks like this is they brought in Evan Rodriguez. That
was a nice pickup. Yeah, their forward depth isn't bad. They could do some.
He played pretty well for Pittsburgh a couple years ago, and then last year he was with Colorado. And Colorado was just decimated. That's another team.
Kulikov on defense. That's not a bad pickup. I mean, but you don't want him on your top 4.
Okay, Montreal. I don't think they're a playoff team. I think they're still 2 or 3 years away. I think they shouldn't even play Slafkovsky in the NHL. If it's me, I put him in the Always Hungry League. Let him get top line minutes against, let him grow his game, the North American game. I think he's gonna be, if he gets to play against physical guys that have a lot that are trying to make it to the show, I think it's really going to show him how competitive the league is. And the drop off between the AHL and the NHL is not that much. So I just would love to see that. Rico, what do you think about Montreal?
Yeah, Montreal still needs a couple of years, I think. They who'd they add? Alex Newhook, I think.
Yeah.
They got Newhook. He's really young, actually, only 23. And they brought in Casey DeSmith, which I read, by the way, they were trying to trade him right away, which sucks for Kate because they have a glut of goalies. They have Jake Allen, which they probably aren't going to be able to move that contract. They have Montembeault and then Caden Primo, right? They've been waiting for him to come up. And then they have that Jacob Dobbs kid, Jacob Dobbs he's a Czech goalie too. So I will say this. I love their future. I think Jack Guy stays healthy. That would have helped them a little bit. He's that toughness defenseman in the lineup. But do they have a guy that's 30 on their team? Joel Armia?
Matheson, maybe.
Joel Armia is going to be 30 this year. That does not feel right.
They do need their young guys to take a step this year. And one thing I read too was with all the injuries Montreal had last year, they cleaned house with their whole training staff. Like their whole training staff is gone.
They tells me though, Rico, that they are run well because they said these guys are old. They're not doing the job we need them to do to keep these. It's antiquated thought process. Now, talk about analytics. We talk about this all the time. I'll tell you that, like, I saw Troy Polamalu 50 years ago talk about plyo and all that stuff. Now it's the gold standard. I go to the gym. I laugh at guys who lift weights because I'm telling you, I've never lifted a weight. It's a waste. 25 pounds, no more. It's a waste. It's a waste. In hockey, what is one of the best attributes? Your skating and your cardio. You don't get cardio from lifting weights. Yeah. I'm not talking about doing squats and all that stuff. I'm not talking about.
You don't need to bulk to play hockey.
You don't need to lift bench 500. They even have said in the NFL the bench press is the most worthless thing.
Yep.
They're getting hockey is getting on another level with conditioning, and you're seeing it with guys like So Gary Roberts started this years ago too. You guys know this, like training in the off season. I know McDavid does it. And these guys never stop skating now. And if you don't stay on your game, you will fall to the wayside. It's a 365 thing. And I know guys take time off. You need to do that. It's like all work and no play. But So, okay, we talked a lot about Ottawa. We're going to skip Tampa. We kind of spoke about Tampa, but let's talk specifics. Pearlo, you were the first on this, so go ahead and give me your Tampa thoughts. I'll pull up the roster here while we're we're discussing
Well,
them.
yeah, it's hard for me to say this, but
45 minutes
because they
in,
have
about the West.
Stamkos, they have Kucherov, they have Vasilevsky, they got Point, they have Sorelli, who's one of the most underrated two-way guys in the league.
I agree.
I think it's very likely that those guys will carry them in. Sergachev, Hedman, they're big guys are big guys, and they're probably going to get them in. But if anything falls apart with those guys, they got nothing. Like really, it is ugly down past their top 4 and past their top 6 or 7. And of course, Vasilevsky doesn't have a crushing year. I wouldn't be. Let's say if they miss the playoffs, you're not going to see me going, "Oh my gosh, they missed the playoffs."
I don't think they missed the playoffs.
I don't think so either, but I'm not going to be totally surprised by it.
Yeah, I'll say this before I let. They did add Sean Day. Okay, let's see. Connor Sheary, I like that for secondary scoring. He's a smart player. He played for the Caps and the Penguins and a couple-time Cup champ. Good player, just a good pro. I like Luke Glendening, older player, very old. Great fourth-line face-off guy, like so good. And just doesn't lose a face-off. Toiled in anonymity, in my opinion, in Dallas. Go ahead, Rico. What do you think about Dallas or Tampa Bay?
Oh, yeah, Tampa, I won't spend much time on it, but I know that strong core is still there, which is important. I know they lost Ross Colton to Colorado and I think Corey Perry, but I think the long layoff for Tampa after going to the Cup, 2 years or whatever, I think Tampa bowing out a little bit early after going so deep the last few years. I think that's going to rejuvenate this team a little bit, and I think they might be all right this year. That they got a solid core they locked up, and they're complimentary guys around them. Will take.
They didn't get outplayed in the playoffs. They just lost. They lost last year or the year before. I thought they were worse, and they won the series. So, hey, stop it. Stop it.
I think they'll enjoy the break, though. I think Tampa will enjoy the break.
They needed it. They needed a first-round exit. You go to the Cup final 3 times. Now, no Patty Maroon. I don't know if that hurts them. But you don't have that guy. But they really got. They got to see what they got. They got to see what they got in the Saskatchewan kid that they traded a bunch of first-round picks for in Janot. Janot. Yeah. So we'll see. Okay. So last on the list for the Atlantic, the Toronto Maple Leafs, they're in the playoffs. No ifs, ands, or buts. They added Dylan Gambrell. Yarn Croak is still there. Matthew Dyes is going to have a first year. Sam Lafferty stayed with the team. Going to be interesting to see him. Fraser Minton, I think he's one of the guys I saw the PTO with. Fraser Minton, wasn't he kind of a highly touted prospect, or
he was a second rounder by then, right?
Yeah. Okay. Of course, Revo. They added Revo. Revo. I think if he can play 25 games and get inserted into lineup and keep him fresh for the playoffs, he could be a factor on the fourth line there. That's the thing. They can roll that fourth line out physical. Klingberg, that's going to be interesting to see how I think he will help them on the power play. And, we'll see. They really need to see something from Liljegren. I thought Morgan Riley was the best player on their team in the playoffs. He was incredible. I don't know why they can't get that from him in the regular season. And then they have like 7 goalies, but it's going to be Samsonov and Wall. Murray's never playing another game. So, okay. And if I'm Toronto, I wouldn't even have it. I'd be like, okay, dude, you can work your own trade out, or we're going to keep you on the LTIR, because I don't think there's a team that would give them a chance at this point. Okay. So we took 50 minutes to go through the East, and we didn't really go through the rosters. Arizona, I think it's a across the board, they're not a playoff team, but they are going to be way better. I like their coach. I like their depth. I like everything about that team. They probably are a little bit thin on the back end, but I like their goaltending. Vejmelka can play, and there were a lot of teams that inquired about him and they didn't move him. So I think that says what they think about him. And, and they're, one thing about Arizona is they've always had good goalies. They had Kemper, they had Hobby Bulin, they've had good ones. So
Bulin Wall.
Rico, you don't think that Arizona's a playoff team, right?
No, they won't. But I think today they just signed Bill Armstrong to a multi-year deal too. Right? Their GM, they signed him today. So,
and he already had 2 years on his deal.
He's good, man. They know what they're doing. That's a good deal. He watched his brother put it together in St. Louis. And if whatever you want to say about St. Louis, they were always in contention. Mm-hmm. And they've been in contention for a long time. I mean, they rebuilt. So Darkness is still with us. Thank you, Darkness. He says
Arizona is my team that
I'd watch out for him.
I would really watch out for that coach. He is incredible. What's his name?
Andre Cherney.
Cherney, yeah.
Yeah, but
Cherney, he gets the best out of those players every single.
Well, they got Jason Zucker and Sean Dursey. Those are two nice sneaky ads.
That Sean Dursey ad was huge. I forgot about the Sean Dursey. The other thing is, and they needed a puck-moving defenseman, and Dursey was just buried in, the problem with the Kings is they just have so much depth there. Mm-hmm. So he just couldn't. He wasn't going to get top right. They had too many right shot Ds. And I don't want to go down the Matt Dumba road with you, Pearlo, so don't say any word about him, okay? But they added Matt Dumba too. I get it. You're not a fan. And they have Connor Ingram and Vejmelka. Like Vejmelka, another one of those Czech goalies. You got to watch out for him.
That does seem like one of those teams where you wake up 30 games in and go, really?
Yeah, they're 25-10
or something, like they're doing something there. That seems like the team that could do it.
2 years ago, this team won the cup. I think they're going to be in the mix again. It's just what they do with Landeskog.
Colorado,
because Landeskog's not going to be there again, right? So they got to figure out a play. Somebody needs they got to bring someone on. I think mid-season to fill that role. So if a team that was going to be a playoff team that has a power forward that can afford, I'd like Alexander Ovechkin to go play out his career in Colorado.
What about Ryan Johansson, Ross Colton, and Jonathan Drouin?
So I think Johansson's going to be a good ad for them. No, because so the other thing is, but here's the thing. Here's the guy, right, that we all want to see. It's shit or get off the pot for Jonathan Drouin, right?
Yeah.
Is he going to do something with his line mate from juniors, like Nathan McKinnon? Like, this is the thing. So, hey.
But here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing I got to say about that, if you don't mind. Drouin, if you're going to go to Colorado and you're going to do what Drouin has been doing in his career up until now, which is basically make excuses and blah, 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 blah. McKinnon is going to lose his freaking mind.
Yeah, but they know each other.
Have you heard like what McKinnon has said to people in the room and the way he?
Yeah, I heard he's not liked all that much, to be honest.
He keeps a standard that is insane. So if anybody's gonna be able to possibly smarten that guy up, maybe it's McKinnon. I don't know, man.
Okay, we finished it. We're done with Colorado. Okay, they're in the playoffs. Okay, Dallas, they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs easy.
Yeah, they got.
You just skip on past.
Their biggest
Miro Heiskanen Norris Trophy. Miro Heiskanen potential Norris Trophy.
They got to get rid of Sagan and Ben. If they can get that $18 million off their cap,
that would be beautiful. And Suter on the third pair, please.
I don't think Suter is there. Oh yeah, he's still there. Dude, they're bringing their camp D. They got Bischel, who's a Czech player they drafted.
Yeah, he's not.
Grushnikov, Hakanpää, Hanley, Thomas Harley, Heiskanen, Christian Kyrou, Esa Lindell, Nils Lundqvist, Petrovic, Derek Pouliot, Jared Roseburg.
They got some depth there, all right, for sure.
Ryan Suter. I don't think Ryan Suter makes the roster with that deep.
It shouldn't.
And then they got the best goalie probably in the Western Conference. You could make the argument in Ottinger when he's on his game. Okay, I think we all think they're making the playoffs. We're not going to make an hour, Pearlo, if you have to leave.
No.
Minnesota Wild. Minnesota Wild. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down on Minnesota Wild. And I'll go through their roster real quick here. I want to see it.
You have to leave, Pearlo? You have to take off, Pearlo?
Yeah, I don't have any time frame, guys. I can go as long as I want. See, I got little flammers.
Well,
here.
we'll finish the West here. We'll try to do it quick.
Okay.
But what do you say for Minnesota Wild?
I think they're a playoff team. I like their Everson. I like their grit. The biggest problem for me, and I'll just say this, and everybody knows this, I'm just preaching the thing. They need center depth. And they have Connor Dewar, Joel Eriksson-Ek, who did not play in the playoffs. That's a huge loss, but he's not a big point producing guy. He's a great defensive. Frederick Gaudreau, okay, he's getting up there. Honestly, he'll be 30. Mojo, Marcus Johansson, I got love for Mojo. Vinny Lettieri they added, and Jacob Lucchini. I think Lucchini
from the Rangers, I believe he was.
I don't know where Lucchini was. Lettieri, I thought, was with Boston last year, or now, I think. Here, I can just look. Lucchini. I got it. I got it right here, Pearlo.
Was he Arizona?
I don't want you looking up on your internet.
I'm doing it off the top of my head. I'm not even looking, but. So, Rico, what do you – Minnesota –
Senators last year.
Have they signed Philip Gustafson yet?
Who?
Minnesota.
Yeah, they did. They signed Joe Bridge.
Yeah, they're keeping him, man. Like Marc-Andre Fleury is not the future there. Philip Gustafson is number one starter. And Jesper Wallstedt's going to be the guy there, too. Like,
does Minnesota have the scoring? It just feels like they're going to be the same team as last year, trying to win games 3-1.
Matthew Boldy will probably go off this year.
Yeah, they need him. They need him to go off. They need Brock Faber to step up too. That's a big one.
I love Faber. I think there's no problems with Faber. I like their defense.
Well, that's why they let go of Dumba. They didn't need him. They have a glutted defense. No. They have Spurgeon locked up for a long time. They got Merrill, Middleton, Goligoski, who's one of them. Goligoski, by the way, is 38.
8 years old.
Still
I know.
Killing it.
Still doing
it. He did well last year. Okay. All right.
So, Rico, do you figure that Minnesota's like usual, like scrapes in, something like that?
I think they're going to be the same team as last year. They're going to play the same playoff series as last year. It just feels like they're going to be the same.
And lose in the first round?
Yeah, they just feel like they're going to play Dallas in the first round again, and it's going to be that type of series, and it's
okay. I'll clip this. This is my hot take for the season. The Nashville Predators are going to be in contention for a playoff. Something about what Barry Trotz. He gets rid of Duchesne. He gets rid of Johansson. He gets rid of all these guys that we've heard are not great locker room guys, and he goes out. And I like Tyson Barrie. Tyson Barrie's a great locker room guy. Yeah, they gave him, but he's a good on the power play. The whole year there, Nashville's going to need that from the back end. Dante Fabro got to step up. McDonough, hopefully he's healthy. Luke Shin, okay, toughness. Roman Josi, they got a good D. And then they added
O'Reilly.
Ryan O'Reilly. And I think Ryan O'Reilly was banged up. And I also think he just didn't want to live in Canada. And I think that's why
No, I think O'Reilly looked around that room and said, "These are a bunch of bitches. Okay, we'll get this over with."
Nah, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that at all. I don't think those guys are bitches. I think he was like, I don't want to live here.
I think he'd rather live in Nashville than Toronto.
Yeah.
There's not a single forward in that roster.
He's a guitar playing guy. He plays the guitar. He's really into music. I can't think of the musician's name that he's really big friends with. that's a Toronto area guy. I don't think he hates that area at all. I just think he was like, first of all,
No, I don't think he hated Toronto. I don't think he hated the city of Toronto. But
I think a lot of the guys don't like.
I think he looked around the room and said, "This team ain't going nowhere in the playoffs."
Well, that could be. Well, and I think also they would have had a hard time matching him.
But yeah, also they couldn't afford.
Toronto media would have went nuts for the deal that Nashville gave him.
Well, if it was about winning a cup, he would have stayed in Toronto because Toronto has a better chance of winning the cup than Nashville does.
I agree with that.
You bring up a good point, though. It's probably more money than anything.
I think it's money and it's peace and quiet. I think there are guys who mental health wise, it's better for them off the ice to not have.
And another thing, Nashville isn't that far from St. Louis if you think about it. So
that's true too.
He spent a lot of time in the Midwest.
Well, I imagine he still owns his place there and everything. And a lot of guys who play in like Southern California stay there and never leave because they love it, right? So, Nashville, no different. I think.
I personally don't think this is the year for Nashville.
I think they're going to be a playoff team. I think the West is very thin.
Nashville has good pieces, but I think their young players have to step up because they're going to have good goaltending there. They got some good names there, some good vets, but they've got some young players.
I agree with Rico. I think it's a growth year. Getting
Chicago altogether. Didn't even want to spend any time talking about them. We're going to spend so much time talking about them this year. We know they're not making a playoffs.
Yeah, you're going to talk about Bedard. That's about all you're going to talk about.
We're not going to talk about the playoffs. I
will say this, though.
O'Reilly's
a little bit with Chicago. I don't know if I mentioned to you, I really loved the fact that they paid up to their cap to get guys like Perry and Foligno for these kids. I really love that.
That was a good idea. Move. No, I think when you have guys like Nick Foligno and Corey Perry on your team, they're going to teach young players how to be pros because they've done it so long. I don't disagree with. Yeah, I mean they gave Corey Perry. Of course, Corey Perry took $4 million. I'll tell you right now. I haven't heard a story. He did not.
Nobody else was giving either one of those guys $4 million. I'm taking it.
Can you imagine that phone call Perry took from his agent?
I didn't make this. We won the cup with Anaheim. Where do I sign? Can I sign over the phone?
His agent probably called him on the golf course at like hole 6, and he said, "Forget about this round, guys. It's all on me. Let's go to the club."
Yeah. I can imagine how that phone call went.
For sure, yeah.
Okay, here's an interesting one. St. Louis Blues. I hope Darkness is still with us. They added Kevin Hayes, which I know you don't like, Pearlo, but he's playing the wing for them. He's not even playing center, which I think is not bad. He can put the puck in the net. They added him.
Yeah.
Mackenzie McEachran they added, which, whatever. He wasn't getting in the lineup in Carolina. Tropchenko. I don't know. Did he play any last year? Alexei
Tropchenko. They already had him.
Not Tropchenko.
Yeah, I like him quite a bit, actually. He's pretty good.
Correct me, I'm reading.
Get your O's and offs together, man.
Whatever. I just know because I know way too much about hockey. I should not know that.
Hey, do not bark. And they didn't really add a lot. Tyle Tucker, they didn't.
They added a lot.
The Ontario guy.
Dude, Tyler Tucker's from my hometown, man.
Yeah, that's what I said. Thunder Bay, Ontario guy, Tyler Tucker. But I think he was already in their system.
Just 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
They're outside of the playoffs this year.
You think? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, they didn't make it last year, so.
Yeah, no.
Winnipeg Jets.
Well,
I say no.
I don't think so either, man. Blake Wheeler's gone to the Rangers now.
Yeah, that's not going to be a big loss for them, I don't think.
That's not a loss, no.
But you know what? Sheldon Dayoff did well in the Dubois trade, but it seems like some tough days ahead are for Winnipeg if you're asking.
Gabe Velarde.
And what's his name? I love him. I love that winger that they gave. One of the better two-way players in the game.
Alex Iafallo.
Yeah. That was I like those kind of players.
Iafallo from Eden, New York. Like it gets cold in upstate New York. He's not going to have any problem assimilating into Winnipeg Winners.
Well, he's just going to be happy to get a top 6 role and show himself off. I mean,
Yeah, I think they're going to be sneaky good, man. I think Dubois is a cancer. I don't know what Rob Blake was thinking. I've never seen anything from that guy that's made me think he's got a great game. I know he's good defensively, but he doesn't do enough offensively.
He's actually not even that good defensively.
He just disappears in games for stretches. You don't see him or hear his name called. And listen, that's the thing for me. If I don't hear his name called, I'm not saying he's not making an impact, but it's a lot of times really a good indicator on what a guy is doing in the game. Yeah. So, I do think that this Winnipeg, the West is weak, guys. Somebody's got to make it to the 16, right? So, I do think
could be what they're going to be. I think personally, they're going to win games 2-1, 3-2. They've got 2 shutdown lines now with Velarde. They've got 2 shutdown lines and a big top line that the other team's going to have to shut down. They got one of the best goaltenders in the league and a really good defense. And I think everybody could just buy into what Bonus has been saying here, which wasn't happening with Wheeler in that. If there's a surprise team, Winnipeg could be it. It's one of those everybody's going to love. Everybody's going to root for Winnipeg if they can be there like halfway through the season. You know what I mean?
You know who's mushed together for me in the West is Calgary, Vancouver, Winnipeg, and St. Louis. Those 4 teams I feel like are mushed together.
We're going to talk about. So let's just go across the board. There's not a single one of us.
And you could add Nashville to that too.
Yeah. I know. But at least I think with Nashville, I like where they're going, and they're not going to be terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Anaheim's not making the playoffs.
No.
No.
Their big offseason acquisition was Alex Killorn. It was an overpay. I think
Ratko Gudas.
That was a good pickup. They needed that big time. They needed that big time. Yeah.
Yeah, they need toughness on their back end.
It's not enough. It's not enough. No.
Yeah, and I'm not talking trash about Killorn. Like, I like the veteran tough player, going to, 2-time Cup winner. I like some of their young players, McTavish. I didn't know Mason McTavish was a Czech kid.
They're still green. They're just too green.
They got to hand over the goalie reins from John Gibson to that other guy, Lucas Dostal.
Yeah.
I think that's
they
where
got to trade Gibson.
Well, Gibson was not good last year. And I think a lot of teams didn't want to trade for him because his numbers were not good, but they were not good. So Owen Zellweger, you guys know, Canadian hockey fans,
he's going to be a good one.
Good. He's 21 now. Coming in, he'll turn 21 next year, 2024.
And they got Minty Yukov or whatever. He's going to be.
They also brought in Labushkin.
Yeah,
and Jamie Drysdale missed almost all of last
year. Yeah, he was out the whole year. Yeah, Drysdale's another guy.
I don't think he should be playing in the league yet, but
Drysdale's older than Zellweger.
Yeah, I know. I think they shouldn't have been playing him yet. I think they.
I think he had a preseason injury, Pearlo. He didn't.
No, they shouldn't have been playing him in the league yet at all. He should have been down in the A.
Yeah. Jacob Perreault.
They signed Terry to a long-term deal too, eh? They signed Jason Terry to a long one.
Yeah, that was
Nikita Nesterenko, a kid.
Oh, they just signed Zegras to a bridge.
Troy Terry.
They signed Zegras today to a bridge.
I said Jason Terry. Sorry, Troy Terry. Yeah, Troy Terry signed a long one, I think.
Yeah, he did. That happened last time. We didn't get a chance to talk about it.
I'm positive they signed, or they're going to sign him to a bridge or something like that. I read something about it.
That did not come out today. I didn't see anything, but
I was listening to Sirius Radio today in the afternoon.
Calgary Flames. Season went up in Flames last year.
I know you're not going to believe this, but I think they make the. I think they make the playoffs and easily make the playoffs. That's what
we'll
I think.
see.
I think if they run it back with a different coach, I think the vibes change a little bit there. I think it's
They did. They hired their assistant coach to be the head coach. I don't know. I don't want to shit on the guy. I'm not in that locker room.
There's
I think if they're
Noah Hannafin and Lindholm, there's stuff going on with them.
Yeah, they're going to move those guys. Those guys are getting traded this year. If they're remotely out of the playoff picture, Hannafin's getting moved. He's already said he's not re-signing there. They'd be an idiot not to trade him. Craig Conroy, American guy. Please, not very many of us get a chance to be general managers. Do a good job. Get rid of these guys. And I like this Sharon Govich move. He was never going to crack the lineup, and there's too much skill on that New Jersey Devils team. So they got him in the move for Toffoli. I think that's a good get. You get a young, NHL player just burgeoning on how great he can be. For Toffoli, which I like Toffoli, but he's not going to be in the league for 10 more years where you could get that from Sharon Govich. So we'll see. I like that move. We got to see Hanzek. They got some young guys. I know Connor Zary. I don't see his name on their roster, so he's not playing, I don't think.
I think that the Calgary Flames are up there with some of the highest scoring teams in the league. They make the playoffs and they're out in the first, second round. Yeah. And that's simply because they're paying Huberdeau $10 million a year, and Huberdeau only wants to play one way. He wants to fly the zone constantly, sublimely pass to everybody, and he can do that. And the only problem is, do they have the shooters for him to pass to? That's the thing.
I don't think they do.
Maybe you're right in that way. He'll just keep on passing and nobody will score, and and they end up missing. That's possible too. But I love their defense. I love their.
What do you think, Rico? Where are you at on Calgary?
Calgary's going to be one of those fringe teams, I think, with Winnipeg trying to make the playoffs. I don't know, man. Markstrom's got to have a bounce back year. He's going to have a good year again there. And you know what? Under a new coach, different vibes. I think just maybe they'll play a little different, play a little more spirited, but they'll be fighting for a playoff spot. I just don't know if they'll get in. But there's a lot of bottom dwellers in the West, so if they beat the right
Somebody's getting in.
Somebody's getting in. Either Vancouver, Winnipeg, St. Louis, Calgary.
Yeah.
It feels like a coin flip, doesn't it? It feels like a coin flip for a lot of teams there in the West.
So let's just say Dallas or Colorado win. So let me acknowledge Darkness. He's been super active in the chat. I think only locks in the West are Colorado, Vegas, and Edmonton. Okay, yeah. We're not even talking about the Pacific yet. I mean, so just yeah. I don't agree with you, Darkness. I know you're not a Craig Berube fan, but I think he's a good coach. And, people in the media.
I think Craig Berube is a good coach, too.
He's not going to get fired, bro.
But he brings up a good point, though. And maybe I should be off of Calgary here because that Central is really bad-looking teams, but they've got some really bad teams that they can play on a regular basis. You're playing Arizona, you're playing Chicago, you're playing –
So but hold on, Pearlo. Let me cut you off here and move on to the next team. But Calgary isn't in the Central; they're in the Pacific.
So I'm saying that the Central might be able to get more points because they got weaker teams to play. That's what I'm saying. Sorry.
Well, yeah, but they're going to play outside of their own division. They're going to play every team in the NHL twice. So that division thing is kind of for naught. It's sort of. I think it's not really mean anything, really.
You still play your own division way more than you do anyone else.
You play them 3 or 4 times, okay? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Anaheim, they're not going to be great. Okay, Edmonton, LA, Seattle, and Vegas were all playoff teams. And Vegas and Edmonton were in the finals, and I think you're going to see that again. Edmonton is our next team. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about Edmonton. I think they're going to have a President's Cup season, and I think they're going to get bounced in the second round. But we'll see. What do you guys think? We know who they added. We talk a lot about it.
Yeah, they added Connor Brown, I think McDavid's old running mate. So there's another one, like Duran and
played 5
McKinnon.
minutes for the Caps last year. By the way, another guy who was injured for the Caps that I forgot about was Connor Brown. Imagine him being in the lineup.
For sure. And a full year of Matthias Ekholm's going to help. I think it's just Jack Campbell. If Jack Campbell could step up in his second year being there, because he's signed to a 5 there. So I think that goalie tandem, if they can get it going in Edmonton, and a whole year of Ekholm there, and then Bouchard's still there. I mean, I like Edmonton, but like you guys pointed out in the playoffs, and Pearlo exploited it, is Edmonton's 5-on-5 game, right?
Yeah, they cannot win. When is the last time? I know as a Caps fan, we'd have a great power play when they don't call them in the playoffs. You know, the Caps weren't getting them when we had Mike Green who almost scored 50 and Alex Ovechkin scored 65, and they weren't getting penalties for 2 games against Montreal, who had no skill. But they had Jarl Halak, who stood on his freaking head. So I'm just telling you, like Edmonton, I feel your pain. Now they're saying blah, blah, blah. But I also, like, you know, McDavid's fast, you know, but the game cannot be played on the perimeter in the playoffs, period.
Yep.
I think Edmonton has a chance against anyone, really, but we're going to get to Vegas, and as long as they keep on playing the way they are playing, I don't see anybody in the West beating them again.
And they didn't lose anybody; they got better, you know.
And they got healthier because Mark Stone basically played with a broken hand or wrist or something.
Well, he was out most of the year too. Like he didn't even play most of the year.
I don't think he's ever going to be what he ever was again.
He looked pretty damn good in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I hear that, like, he's really spent. Like, his body's really.
Look, they can rest him the whole damn year and bring him back for the playoffs again.
Even without him, they have elite forwards, 2-way forwards on that team.
I don't want to skip over the other teams. Okay, Edmonton, they're all making it. We all believe they're a Stanley Cup contender. It's now or never for them, in my opinion. They need to shit or get off the pot. This is their window. The next 2 to 3 seasons is their window. We'll see. Draisaitl's up in 2 years. Speaking of guys who make jack and shit, he makes $8 million a year. They're going to have to pay him.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get $15 million from somebody. I think he stays in Edmonton, but huge mistake, in my opinion. Okay, the LA Kings, they're in. But I don't like the moves.
No, they make it, but I agree with you. I think Edmonton beats them, Dallas beats them, Vegas beats them.
Yeah, I think they have better goalie
in the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna say, Jeremiah. Is the only thing that concerns me in LA is goaltending.
Yeah, they don't have one. They have
I have a feeling that they're saving space to throw a shitload to get Hellebuyck. I just have that feeling.
Well, they need him.
If they get Hellebuyck halfway through the year, everything I just said, throw it out the window. You get Hellebuyck with that team, and they are a solid.
Well, and that's another guy that needed to be moved. Like, they need to move. I think Winnipeg would be smart to move Scheifele, smart to move Connor, would be smart to move Hellebuyck, and start to rebuild now. Are they going to win the Cup? No. Are they a playoff team?
They'll do it at the deadline if they're out.
I would start the rebuild now. If you know you're not – okay, so Gavrikov, they got Gavrikov. They kept Gavrikov. That ad. Lefty, they needed more D on that side. They still have Doughty. If he's healthy, they got Matt Roy, Santi, Spence, and then the guy who's not even cracked the lineup yet is what's the kid's name that I keep hearing about?
Byfield?
No, he's playing. But he's not.
Oh, that kid on defense you're talking about, Clark.
Yeah. Right? Clark.
That's the big X factor there. They're
That's
pretty
Clark
adamant
from the
that-
Barrie Colts, I think. Brant Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
pretty
they got
high
rid of
on
Sean Dursey. They don't need him.
Yeah.
And they got Sean Dursey in the Jake Muzzin trade from Toronto, right? So, like, they are just they have just done such a good job. Mikey Anderson might be one of the best left shot D, great player. Like, they just need goalie. Pearlo, if they get Hellebuck, it's all she wrote. Of course, I want my boy Phoenix Copley to do well there. North Pole Alaska guy. Played in the cap system.
Yeah.
He's not old either. I mean, he's only like 31.
Yeah,
but it's
he's
like,
not going to win your cup.
Well, no, but they got Rittich and Cam Talbot. They got goaltending by committee there, and they had to do it last year too. Which
Vegas could win.
by the way,
Vegas could win a cup with any of those.
Vegas
guys.
did it that way. So
but Vegas has the elite top two-way forwards, and LA.
Pierre-Luc Dubois is the X factor for them. If he can play like everybody said he could play, and blah blah blah, then we'll see. But I'll tell you what, I think that Rob Blake's going to rue the day. But they're making the playoffs.
Danault is a better center than Dubois. Danault is a better center than Dubois.
Yeah, defensive for sure. And he's gotten better offensive numbers since he's been with LA.
Just overall, I think he's a better player.
I like to know. Yeah, I don't think you could criticize him. When you think of quintessential Guy Carbonneau, like French Canadian centers, Phil Deneau is cut from that same Carbonneau cloth, right? Okay. I don't want to spend any time talking about him, but is there anybody interested? We lost our friend he might be back with us. The Sharks fan. Oh, Rick Smith. Rick Smith. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Hockey Hall of Famer in the chat.
Nice.
Canadian Olympic gold medalist, Rick Smith. Rick, thank you so much. I missed you all summer, man. I hope you had a great summer. Great to see you and hear you. I hope your man cave kicks butt. One of these days, I got to get over there and meet you guys in the GTA and then swing over. Sharks are going to get the number one pick probably next year, and it's going to be unfortunate because it ain't going to be Connor Bedard. So Anthony Duclair, I'm going to be interested to see what he does with top line minutes. He's been traded a lot now, so we'll see. They got a lot of young guys. So
there's not much to say about San Jose.
Yeah,
all I got to say about San Jose is Mackenzie Blackwood fetched a 6th rounder, and he's going to get peppered. He's going to get peppered.
Kakkonen and Blackwood is your goaltender.
I don't think Blackwood's going to play for them. I know they signed him, but I don't think he's going to start. I think it's going to be Kakkonen. And if it's not Kakkonen, I think it's going to be the other Finn.
He's got a very appropriate name because that's about what he is.
So we'll see. No, but I'm saying, we'll see. They are still, Couture's got a crappy contract.
I think Couture will be traded at the deadline. I think Couture
Marc-Edouard Vlasic's got
Pickles.
4 more years with $7 million.
4 more years? Oh my!
I can't believe Pickles is still there.
Yeah, Vlasic.
Yeah. It's a terrible situation there in San Jose.
Okay, we're down to the final 2. Hey, Seattle Kraken. They added Edward Belmar. Jaeger gonna play. They're not missing.
Hot take, Pearlo.
I say they missed. Yeah.
They're not missing.
Hot take.
I'll tell you why they miss. I tell you why I say they miss.
They got Kailer Yamamoto, huh?
They have an unsustainable shooting percentage. It's unsustainable. They cannot keep that up. And I think they miss. I think Calgary takes them out, something like that. But I say they miss.
No,
and I I'm not a Grubauer fan. I'm not a fan of their goaltending. I say they miss. That's my
Looks
take.
like they're going to go into the season with Joey and Philip Grubauer and Alex Stezka, another Czech goalie. Man, there's a lot of Czech goalies.
What do you say? Obviously you disagree, Rico? You think they make it again?
I don't know. I know Seattle's going to get a lot of talk this year. You know, a little bit of pressure playing the Avalanche right to 7 games and Dallas right to 7 and beating one of those teams in the playoffs. You know, they're going to get a lot of hype.
Nobody's going to be taking them lightly this year.
No, and they're yeah, exactly. And you know, and Shane Wright, it's going to be interesting to see if he could take the next step for that team too. But apart from that, I think most of the teams back together, they added a couple pieces, but nobody's going to be taking them lightly, like you said, Pearlo. Seattle.
Pearlo is so full of fucking shit, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Their fucking team made the AHL Calder Cup Finals and lost in 7 games to the Hershey Bears. Half those guys that played on that team are ready for the NHL. Ty Cartier, who played in the playoffs for the Seattle Kraken last year. Yes. We're going to see Shane Wright, I think. Maybe not a ton, but he's going to be there. Tolvanen, going to be better. They got him for nothing. Look, they didn't add anybody that you're like, oh my God. But I look at their roster, they're younger, and they have all that playoff experience. Like, their old guys are Oliver Bjorkstrand and Andre Burakovsky. Burakovsky, by the way, not in the playoffs last year. Not healthy. 2-time Stanley Cup champion. Big time goals for the Caps.
He's got a great shot.
Goals for the Avs. Incredible playoff performer. He is going to be a huge to them if he's healthy the whole year. They added Brian Dumoulin, who wore the lion's share of all Pittsburgh's defense.
I did like the pickup of Dumoulin. He's a much
player.
better defenseman than Pittsburgh. If he plays lower in the lineup, he's a pretty good pickup. Yeah, I did like that.
And they lost what's his name? But I'm telling you, and Grubauer played like he could play at the end of the year and in the playoffs, and that's all they need from him. He doesn't have to be a Vezina Trophy winner. He needs to be consistent enough, and then when he gets to the postseason, he knows. He saw Holtby take his job and really take his chance to be a cup champion because he's a 2-time cup champion, he's a 1-time cup champion because he left Colorado before they won the cup. My bad. They went and got Kemper. But the guy knows where to put his game up. And so I will tell you, yeah, Rick, I'm with you. He likes the Kraken. Who's out? They're not out. Calgary's not making it.
No, I take Calgary over Seattle. They
just have too high for Seattle. Period.
You have too high of a shooting percentage. It's not sustainable to be able to.
Well, I think they proved that it was
percentage that high.
They made the playoffs in their second year. I think it's good.
They just had a whole bunch of
they're making it, but it sounds like you're excited for them to go a little bit deep this year.
I don't know if they're going to be deep, but they're a playoff team. In the West, sure. They're a playoff team.
I think they are.
They're making the playoffs. And Edmonton is at Connor McDavid blowing his knee out to being a bottom feeder again and being in the top 10 for getting
Let's say Philip Grubauer doesn't do very well, or
Philip Grubauer is better than anybody Edmonton has in goal. I'll tell you that right now.
No.
Skinner's garbage.
Let's say Grubauer blows a knee or something or whatever. Then you got Joey DeCord.
They have 2 other guys in the
AHL.
They have 2 other guys in the AHL that they want to
play. And Nyman. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
It's not happening,
well, let's say Jack Campbell gets hurt for Edmonton. Who's coming in?
Oh, we're talking about Edmonton. Honestly.
I'm just saying, Edmonton, everybody's telling me they're 1 player away from winning the cup. Oh, are they?
Not me.
I don't think they were close.
I'm not telling you that.
So
nobody has shit on Edmonton more than me. Nobody.
But I'm saying, I'll tell you right now, I would have rather seen Seattle play Vegas in the finals in Edmonton in the Western Conference Finals.
So here's the thing. So let's make a bet. We got to remember this, and you got to record it. What's the bet? I say Seattle misses. You say Seattle makes it in.
Yeah.
What's the bet? What do I got to do if Seattle makes it in? because this is the hot one between the two of us, obviously.
Are you talking straight up odds here? Are you thinking?
I like Calgary. Like, I like their fan base, but they are washed. And if they don't move Hannafin, Backlund, and Ekholm, they're in trouble.
Oh,
and
no, they're in trouble. There's no doubt about that. They're just going to make the playoffs.
So
next year.
all I'm saying is, you tell me of the 8 teams. So let's just go through the list here. I'll say Arizona makes the playoffs, okay, because we all like their roster, okay. If they have a whole, I'm
Arizona's not making the playoffs.
There's only 8 teams going to make it, right, from the West. Right. Arizona, Colorado, Dallas, Nashville,
Arizona.
Hold on. I'm not done. Okay, Edmonton, LA, Seattle, and Vegas. So one of them teams is out. Okay, Winnipeg probably out. Nashville probably out. I'm just telling you. Like, Vancouver, not going to make the playoffs.
I'll take Vancouver over Seattle.
Okay, I disagree.
I'll take Vancouver over Seattle.
Pedersen's talking about walking, bro. Like, he's going to see how this season goes, and he's going to walk.
You got a full year of Demko. You got a much better defense. You got a really good coach. I'd give them more of a chance. I'm not saying they're making it, but I'd give them more of a chance.
I don't think Rick Tocchet's a better coach than...
I think another team. Okay, I'll take Winnipeg over Seattle. Here's the reason why, because Seattle has.
Winnipeg's in the Central, so they got to play in the Central. Right. So they got to play Colorado 4 times. They got to play Dallas 4 times.
How many teams are going to make it in the? How many teams are going to make it?
I just told you the teams. I named 9
teams.
Okay, so Arizona doesn't make it. Colorado, Dallas, Winnipeg. Edmonton, LA, Seattle, and Vegas.
Ooh.
Who am I missing?
No, you need.
So there's 1 spot. That leaves 1 spot for Minnesota, Nashville.
I'll take Minnesota over Seattle, yeah.
Okay, but Minnesota won't play Seattle because they're in the Central. They'll play Dallas or Colorado, depending on the rankings. So they're not even going to play them in the first round.
I would take Minnesota to make it over Seattle in that division. So
Minnesota, but they're not in the Central. You're not listening, bro. They're not in the Central. In the Pacific, Edmonton, LA, Seattle, Vegas. Those are the 4 playoff teams. That's the 4. You're going to tell me Anaheim, Calgary, San Jose, Vancouver?
5 teams can make it in the Pacific. 5 teams can make it.
I don't say that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, I'm giving it 4 and 4.
I'm not saying 4 and 4 because I don't think it's going to be 4 and 4.
Yep.
I think you're fucking high and you just have a fucking bias against Seattle.
No, I don't have a bias against Seattle.
And
I have a bias against any.
Edmonton had a fucking out of control shooting percentage.
Doesn't it go top 3 and 3 in each division, and the rest are in wild cards?
It is. But it is. You get 3. The top 3 make it, and the rest is wild card. And then so you could have 5 from one division making it, and you could have 3 from another. That's fair. Let me just pull up fucking Vancouver's roster. We know Vegas is making it. Defending stuff. We don't have to spend any time talking about Vegas. We'll end the show on litigiousness and fucking hate that I have for Pearlo right now for his garbage fucking take on the fucking Seattle Kraken. But, okay, the rapist Ian Cole. Okay, I don't know if I like that ad for
He's good defensively.
For
nice pickup.
Vancouver. Of course, no. Okay, they still have JT Miller. So say what you want to about that. They added Pius Suter. Okay, nice I do like the Philip Ronick trade they made. I like him as a right shot D. I don't know what Detroit was doing there. But other than that, they just probably felt like they didn't need him with their young guys coming up.
Making room for Edvinson eventually.
I mean, but he's got to get. I mean, that's again, they're forcing these. I do like the Carson Soucy pickup, who, by the way, fucking played for Seattle last year.
Yeah,
it's very good for them.
Yeah, it's good for their
so
defense.
When I say I watch the games, I watch all the fucking games. Now, Seattle is a little challenging for me to watch. I have to pirate it. because they're fucking regionally blacked out in Alaska. But Atu Ratti, that's going to be an interest. Let's see what that guy is. I mean, he's 22 years old now. He couldn't crack the lineup in
I don't think he's going to make it.
And New York Islanders, but you know, Lou Lamoriello, I sometimes question how he does things. I don't see it from them. Now I get Tocchet going to coach them, and they do have a good back end guy in Quinn Hughes. My thing with Quinn Hughes is he's your number one pair. He's a little bit undersized, and they don't. Maybe Susie helps there if they play him in the top pair. I don't know, but Susie's a left shot D2, so
defense is weak for Vancouver for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if when you say that to me, that just reeks of not making the playoffs.
But I think the
have to move Demko.
I think
they have a glut too. They have Zach Sawchenko. They have Spencer Martin.
Pearlo, do you think LA finishes ahead of Seattle?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
I think that. I think LA.
Okay, so the division winners, Edmonton, they're in the West, right? Edmonton.
Yeah, it's gonna be Edmonton. I think it's going to be 1, 2, 3. Edmonton, LA, Seattle. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, Vegas.
Yeah, but
Edmonton,
you know what?
LA, Vegas, Calgary is what
Vegas,
I think that's going to be.
Yeah, Vegas did have over 109 points. Calgary's not making the playoffs, bro. What are you watching?
We'll see. I think that they're going to play I think they're going to play the type of regular season game that'll get them in the playoffs. They're going to be shit in the playoffs, but they'll play a regular season game.
I think Huberdeau is a bust for them. I think
if you let Huberdeau play the way he wants and you play a full offensive game, they have the team that can.
You think they're going to do that with Suter's? They hired Suter's assistant coach. I'm sorry, I do not know Calgary fans that are out there. But yes, darkness. Calgary is a bottom 5 team in the West. They just don't have it yet. They don't have enough good young players.
I don't agree.
They're already talking about the young Dustin Wolf being the starter there. Markstrom could be on the block.
That would be the X factor. If Markstrom plays as bad as he did last year, Calgary's doesn't have a
shot. And he didn't play good the year before either. He was awful in the playoffs. And in fact, Calgary should have stomped a mud hole in Edmonton's ass and walked it fucking dry 2 years ago in the playoffs.
I have
no idea what the fuck they were doing.
All they had to do was play a dump and chase against Edmonton, and they would have won.
Rick Smith says Calgary has shit goaltending. Well, Rick, they do have Dustin Wolf coming up from Gilroy, California, by the way, who's supposed to be like the shit.
Well, the one person I know that is huge on goaltenders says he's better than Saros. So we'll see. I don't know.
I have heard nothing but good things. If he comes in and plays like 30 games for Edmonton, he's going to be called. Yes. I'm sorry. Did I say Edmonton? Yeah. Yeah. No. So, if I was Edmonton, I would want Calgary's goaltending situation. I want nothing else at Calgary. Now, look, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good play. I like Ekholm. But I think they got caught with, at least Matthew Tkachuk told them, they got caught with the Johnny Gaudreau thing. Now, I think if the pandemic didn't happen, Gaudreau stays there. Everything, all the indicators, he would have stayed. He said he was going to stay and whatever. But you could argue, does his game translate to the playoffs either? He's an undersized winger. You know, we talk about Panarin, we talk about Kaprizov. You got to get to the perimeter, in the playoffs. So we'll see. I like Tocchet as a coach, and I know he's a smart guy. I don't think he's the 5th best coach in the Western Conference, period. So, Bruce Cassidy was incredible last year for Vegas, and I don't think he's the best coach. Bednar probably for me, and I think Bednar probably would be the guy I would pick if I was building a team. You would not pick Jared Bednar for the Colorado Avalanche. I just loved what he did with that team. Really, the first time you saw a team who wasn't more physical win the cup, really. And the way it's because of how he coached in and rolled his lines, and I just was a fan of how they played. Now, they got decimated with injuries last year. They had more injuries than the Caps, and that's why, it is what it is. They got beat, but I'm going to tell you, like, we're talking chalk where everybody stays healthy. Edmonton's not going to stay healthy. Vancouver's not going to stay healthy. Vegas won't stay healthy. Seattle may not stay healthy, but I'm saying top to bottom, the drop off. Yeah. If Edmonton loses McDavid or Draisaitl, they're done. They don't have enough talent throughout their lineup. If Jordan Eberle gets hurt for the Seattle Kraken, they don't miss a beat because they have a bunch of B- players. They have all through their lineup. They don't have anybody that's a superstar, but they don't have anybody that their whole team relies on. I'm just saying.
I realize you love the philosophy of the way he's being built, but I've been capping for lots of years now. And whenever you see a team with that kind of high shooting percentage and all the analytics that go with it, they miss the next year.
Yeah.
So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm
see.
saying they're missing.
I think you should bait everything you own that they missed the playoffs. And you can come live with me in Alaska when you're homeless.
I'm putting them on the under for FanDuel's over-under. I got them on the under. So
yeah,
easy.
I'm just saying. Calgary not going to be good. Anaheim's not going to be good. That's
Grubauer. If Grubauer's not that great, if he gets injured, they have nobody behind him.
If they win all their games against Anaheim, Calgary, and San Jose, which is 12 games.
I will look at this on the schedule because they got like 10 points last year because they were the last team on the Western road trip for Eastern road trip teams, where they got Washington would go into Edmonton, Calgary, then Vancouver.
Washington beat Edmonton and Edmonton last year.
Let me finish. And then played Seattle fourth game of the last game of the road trip. They did that over and over and over. Anybody, even San Jose could beat any team in that spot.
Not true.
Yes, they did.
Not true. Edmonton was at the end of the road trip for a lot of teams.
Not as much as Seattle. Way more times. And I bet you this year they're not going to.
Show me where you got that number. I want to know where you pulled that number out of your ass.
Okay, I'll send it to you. They got it more than anybody last year, and I doubt they're going to get it this year. So it doesn't matter. We both said our piece, and we both
go up the coast, and then they go into Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver.
What's the bet? Seattle doesn't make the playoffs. I say
you have to shave your head. I don't give a fuck.
What do I got to do?
I'm not even worried.
What do I got to do if Seattle makes it? What do I got to do? Tell me.
Shave your head, I guess.
Okay. That's why I love doing this with you, dude.
I don't really want to. I mean, I'm not going to bet you. I don't know what to bet you. Like, do you want me to lay a parlay down on? I can't gamble. It's not legal here.
No, not money. I'm talking about like make me do something. If Seattle makes the playoffs, I got to do something.
I just want you to like. Okay. We'll come up with a canned statement where you just say I'm the supreme high all hockey, whatever. And I'll do the same for you.
Sounds good.
Now it's a wash if Seattle makes the playoffs, right?
If Seattle makes the playoffs, I will say that.
So, but who makes it in instead though? Like, who do you think makes it over them? Like, I just don't see it.
I think Calgary, Vancouver could. I think.
Okay, yeah.
I'm totally from this. I don't think they have a great year.
Statement.
I don't think they have a great year this year, and everybody's going to be surprised.
You have to root for Team USA the next time they play Canada too. We'll just go with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say wear a Kraken jersey, Rick, but I'm pretty sure Pearlo doesn't have one.
I had nothing against Seattle or the Kraken or anything. I have nothing against them whatsoever.
Hey man, you know what? We've spent enough time on Seattle. It'll be interesting to see how they do this year because you guys are like on opposite ends of where.
I just don't see how they're not a playoff team. They beat the defending cup. The people are they didn't have Landeskog. They didn't have
Well, don't you remember that I picked Seattle to beat Colorado?
You did, and so did Hot Take Hockey.
But I picked Seattle to beat Colorado.
my man John
Because
Bavaria.
Colorado was in a terrible position. Yeah.
You have to be fucking kidding me.
Mm-hmm.
When you think, I don't see 8 better teams in the West than them. Arizona, not better. Chicago, not better. Colorado, maybe, yeah, but no Landeskog. I still want to see what Colorado is, 2 years out.
I agree with you. I think Colorado could fall off the map this year, too.
Yeah, I mean, they're relying on Jonathan Drouin to be a top right wing for them. I'm worried. Dallas, okay, you could make the argument. Dallas beat them in the playoffs. I'm not ready to call Dallas a better team than them. Minnesota, they're better than Minnesota. They're better up the middle, and they're better in goaltending than Minnesota. Well, they're not better at goaltending because Gustafsson was great. Yeah, they're not better at goaltending because Gustafsson was incredible. He should have been a Vezina finalist the way he played. Okay, Nashville, we don't think they're a playoff team. I said my hot take is
I don't think Nashville's a playoff team. I think Calgary or Vancouver. I think Calgary or Vancouver is going to beat out Seattle.
Okay,
and
our
maybe
boy Darkness
Minnesota
says no way. His own St. Louis Blues aren't making it. I disagree. I think St. Louis could be in the mix.
I don't think St. Louis makes it.
But we'll see. It's going to be. I think St. Louis has the talent in their roster. It's just, does Bennington get out of his own way and play like he can play? I just haven't seen. He has not been good. He was great for him towards the end, though. Now, Winnipeg. Again, they could easily be a playoff team, but especially with the guys they added from LA, I think that's not going to hurt them. But I think they're a little weaker down the middle. They're older on D. Morrissey is their best defenseman. He's undersized. They don't have that physical element. Trouba, Bufflin, all those guys they had, they missed that. Now, Nick Ehlers, is he healthy? Blah, blah, blah. Again, that's always Winnipeg's thing. They probably have the best goalie in the entire conference.
But you know what they did?
Thatcher Demko, okay.
We should let Rico talk here, by the way. It'd be the neutral.
No, I'm good with listening, and you're making an awesome point about Winnipeg. And the one thing about Winnipeg is they got rid of the cancer in the room, Blake Wheeler.
Yeah.
Was he the cancer, though?
That's what I'm saying. There was something going on there. I mean,
Maurice was fine. When have you guys ever seen that?
Yeah. That's a really good point, Rico.
That's all I'm saying. It seemed like there was a cancer in that room in Winnipeg, and if it's gone, well, now it's time to show it, man.
And I think Wheeler had a big effect on Scheifele that way too, and I think you could see a different Scheifele this year. I think Rico brings up a really good point.
Scheifele has been an enigma forever. He's never shows up in the big game.
Well, he's just a pure offensive, selfish dude. Yeah, no doubt about that. But Wheeler doesn't help that any. It's just like with Dallas, one of the biggest worries I have with Dallas is you're putting Duchesne and Sagan together. They're going to spend more time in a boat than they are on the ice. I really wonder.
I don't have a problem with guys like having a life off the ice. I think, especially for older players, they don't need to skate every day. It's better for them to rest. Again, you don't have to be like you were in your 20s. Now, I don't think Dallas is limited because of the Sagan Ben contracts of what they can do. When they get those guys off the roster, they're going to be a force. But look, in the playoffs, didn't see much from Robertson. Didn't see much from anybody other than Jamie Benn. And look, honestly, Dallas had a team good enough to win the cup. They just got outclassed by Vegas. That's how much better Vegas was than everybody. They were just the best, and they aren't worse. We didn't even talk about Vegas. You might as well finish the night with
Vegas. Not much to talk about.
Because they are the defending fucking Stanley Cup champs. They still are, I would say the one argument you could make, you would think they're a little bit young, thin down the middle. But Eichel, I watched Eichel skate with McDavid, take the puck off his sticks several times in the playoffs, like straight up great defensive plays. He should have won the Conn Smythe just based on his defensive.
I agree. And everybody thought I was crazy when I said Eichel was one of the best two-way players when he was in Buffalo. He was
incredible. No, they're
when
wrong.
He was in Buffalo, I was saying that. Everybody said it was crazy.
I think part of the problem with Buffalo was he just didn't have anything around him. There was no good coaching. It was shitty ownership. It was bad coaching. Yeah.
But anyways, Vegas is going to do very well. I don't know if they're going to.
And they added some young. They got some youth in their lineup they're going to play a lot of young guys again. And again, they have the luxury now they've been around 7 or 8 years. The Henderson Silver Knights are 15 minutes away. So their AHL team is right there. You know, that's what I told everybody. The reason Seattle, everybody's shit on their fucking draft. And I said, I like what they did. They didn't take on any bad contracts. And Seattle has cap room, by the way, to make moves. So if a big-time player comes up, they can add it.
You got that.
We'll see. I want to see what their young guys do.
I'll give you that, for sure.
So I want to see what their young guys do. Look, Aiden Hill, they kept Aiden Hill. Logan Thompson was incredible for Vegas last year. So if he's healthy, by the way, Calgary kid. So, you know, really Vegas lost. The only guy they lost was Riley Smith, which I think is a loss, but they're going to play a bunch of young guys. And I just think sometimes when you get that in a Mason Primo going to come in that lineup, Jacob Barabanek, couple guys, like, I just wonder, like, it helps inject some youth into those. And they're not done. I mean, look, they're old guys. A
good one, Darkness, like that. Joe Halford becomes the starting goaltender. I agree.
Yeah. I already think they're regretting that deal with Bennington, but they had no choice, man. The guy was out of his fuck. That first period against Boston in Game 7 might be the best, besides Tim Thomas and what he did to Vancouver. That's one of the JSG Garrett. I was so impressed with Bennington. If he did he win the Conn Smythe that year? Or was O'Reilly? They could have gave it to Bennington. They could have gave it to Bennington. So, and that's what I'm saying. If you have a goalie that has hit that level, I mean, that's why people keep taking shots at.
It's a big head, like Murray did after he did what he did in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Murray. That's what I was just.
They traded as soon as they traded Fleury. He thought he was the best goaltender on the planet. He didn't have to do anything anymore. And it seems like Bennington kind of had that same attitude. Yeah.
So, Rick, we all said we don't think Florida's a playoff team this year.
I think they're a bubble team. I'm not saying they're out, but it's
the East is a beast.
I'm not going to take off at Kachuk. I'm
telling you, if it's not Vegas, and the reason I think Vegas could win again is because I think they could coast through the West. But because again, LA is there. They have the team. They just don't have the goaltending. Edmonton is there. They have the team. They just don't have the goaltending. Okay. So if you're Edmonton or Los Angeles, you're trying to get Hellebuck. You're trying to get Thatcher Demko. You're trying to get somebody on that team. Now, because I think the West that's why the East is a meat grinder. Carolina is a cup team. The Rangers could win a cup with their goaltending. We'll see. I'm interested to see Laviolette too. I think he's going to do well for them. I think that's, I don't know.
I agree with you. I agree.
I like that as a hire. I don't think, he did not get fired from the Caps. His deal was up, and I think the Caps, they went and got Spencer Carberry from the Leafs, who Carberry actually coached.
Awesome young coach.
Yeah. He was with the Capitals system before. And then they promoted the guy from the Hershey Bears to the AGM, and Brian McClellan. We didn't talk about that last time. Brian McClellan is no longer the GM of the Washington Capitals. He's the president of hockey ops. That's new. Yeah. That happened within the last week or so. So we'll see. But like I said, I'm realistic about it. The winner of the West will win the Stanley Cup for one reason, because whoever comes out of the East will be beat up. And that's exactly what happened to Florida. If Florida was 100%, that would have been a different playoffs. It would have been so much different. And for me, I'm not coming off that. Now, I'll say this, though. We've had the West win the Cup 2 times in a row. Usually it is in 3.
I have a really hard time. I think people are going to be really surprised by how good New Jersey is this year. I really do.
No, I don't think anybody is. I've heard nothing but good.
I think even if people think they're going to be good, they don't realize how good they're going to be.
They're going to be amazing.
What do you think what's that?
Timo Meier, full season there. Tyler Toffoli's a sneaky ad. I think they
Toffoli had 35 goals, a career high last year.
Yeah, they added some good vet leadership there in New Jersey. I think they're going to be a surprising team as long as they get the goaltending. That's another thing with this team.
That's the only thing. Is the
I thought Schmid played fine.
Going to be good.
I don't think they should have came off Schmid.
But the thing is, though, Vegas did really well with incredible two-way forwards all through their lineup, and New Jersey's is way better this year, way better.
Yeah,
whatever Vegas was last year, times it by 2. They do not need a great goaltender, and I learned that finally. It took me a long time because I'm the old school. You got to have a goaltender guy. It's the reason why I didn't take Vegas to win the cup last year, and I'm done now. I'm sold on that. If I get it. They have the most brilliant minds in Vegas that you can find. They've spent money on the most brilliant analytical minds you can find. And I'm done with that. You don't need a goaltender, but you do need a top 9 that is above average defensively right through, pretty much. And Vegas has got it. And if they went out and did something like crazy, like got Hullebuck or something like that, they wouldn't even do it. I'd put all my mortgage. I put all my mortgage on. I would put more money on that than I would Seattle missing the play.
They don't need them. They would give up too much to get them. They don't need them. Mm-hmm. They don't need them.
They got enough assets that they might be able to pull it off.
Let me mute for a second. You guys can.
You hear me, Pearlo?
What's that?
Oh, yeah. He muted himself. But man, if starting to think of it, if I could play anywhere in the NHL, if I had a pick of a city, if it wasn't for Toronto, because I'm from around there, it'd be Vegas.
Vegas, for sure.
They probably treat their guys like
I would take less to play in Vegas than I would in most other cities.
Well,
for sure.
It's good weather most of the year. They got good schools, It's
good tax.
They don't live in the strip. People don't realize they don't live in the They live away.
Go outside of the strip. Vegas is the coolest place ever, man. Those people are awesome.
It's not too bad on the strip either. So
no, that's right.
So I don't mind it there either.
But I got to wrap her up here, guys.
All right, guys.
Awesome talking to you guys.
Our bet will be we'll come up with some. You are the almighty.
I'm sure anybody watching here will come up with something.
Once I started yelling and going crazy, a bunch of people jumped up online. So sometimes it helps bring in.
Hey, you got to get the emotion going, man. Somebody's got to disagree.
I just on this fucking bullshit with the fucking Seattle Kraken all the fucking time.
This is the reason why I love doing this podcast, is because you're not afraid to go off and say what you fucking want to say. Yeah. I'm so tired of listening to people beating around the bush. And what's some of the catchwords they say? I'm not sure, or I could blah, blah, blah.
People are afraid to take a stand on anything.
Take a stand, for fuck's sake. Could be wrong.
I have an opinion. Yeah, I love you, Steve. I love you. I enjoy our hockey talks. We agree on 95% of everything.
Well, that's the reason why when we disagree, we go so hard on it.
I get you. And I know, I just think that numbers are numbers. I've been watching the show, I highly recommend on Apple Plus Foundation. And they talk about psychohistory, and it's all based on mathematics and stuff. It's based off an old Isaac Asimov book. It's so good. It's so well done and so incredibly good. But I just have to tell you, numbers are numbers. They don't mean anything. I've seen 198 guys hit fucking home runs in the World Series. What is it? Oh, did we get a jersey? What is it? Oh, is it the...
See, you're not going to sell me on that because
I got a jersey that came in. This is an eBay purchase, so I knew it was coming.
You're not going to sell me on that because I'm a successful handicapper, and percentages is what you work on all the time. So.
Nice. He got the
yeah, buddy, I got the Justin Bieber one. I had to get. I don't even know a song that Justin Bieber sings. To be honest with you, I don't think.
Yeah, right. You got those albums. Yeah.
No, I got to tell you because I'm a little bit of a, the Queen Led. I know like Rush. I know Canadian bands, Loverboy. Who's the guy we were talking about last time? If you think Canadian, they're the Canadian band. Tragically Hip. Okay. Yeah. Like I know them, love them. Hey, but I got the Justin Bieber one. Yeah. No, I thought it was cool, man. Like I thought it was a cool one. And I'm a closet Leafs fan anyway, man. I want them.
Attaboy.
I'm not big on his music, but I'm big on him as a person.
We're here for you.
I'm big on him as a person. I love Biebs. I'm not a big fan of his music.
I like him as a person. I just don't. I'm sure I've heard stuff from him. Like I like Ed Sheeran and stuff. I like Adele. We were kind of in on Adele right away.
All over.
I saw her on Saturday Night Live. That was her first performance in the North America. We had her album the next day. So, sure. But I just can't tell you a song that Justin Bieber sings that I'm like, oh, like Hey Baby or something. Like
it's very.
Pearlo will sing one. Sing one, Pearlo.
But
I don't even know. They all sound the same to me. I'm not a fan of his music.
What do you like, Pearlo? Are you a country guy? What's your music?
I like almost every genre of everything.
Okay.
I come from a punk rock like roots, but I like everything. I do like everything, but
who's your favorite band? Who's your go-to band of all time? I'll say mine after.
All time favorite.
Yeah, like who is your like favorite guy? Like who do you listen to over anything else? Like if you just want to listen to something, you feel good, you know all the fucking words.
Oh man, I guess the guy I respect the most because he went through all genres would be David Bowie. I guess I love David.
Okay, yeah, dude, I could get down with some Bowie. I fucking love Bowie.
Yeah.
Okay, mine's close. Mine's close to Bowie, by the way. In fact, but I want Rico to go. You're Tragically Hip, aren't you, Rico? Didn't you say
that? And if I were to put a song on, crank it, and a few tunes I always loved is the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, yeah. They're so good. I love them. I'm so down with the Chili Peppers. I've loved them forever. I've loved them when they did Stevie Wonder's Higher Ground. Like what a fucking great cover. So my favorite band is Queen, and they did Under Pressure with David Bowie.
Yeah, Queen would be right up there.
I want to break free. Like I'm all about Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's coming out with a new studio album, Rick. First time in 25 years.
80 years old.
If I were to take a second, he just brought it up. Whoever was in the chat.
Rick Smith, Canadian hockey. Hey, he's not in the Canadian Hockey Hall of Fame. He's in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Rick Smith, Canadian gold medalist.
Yeah. That was my second band, I would have said, other than Bowie. It was the Stones. The Stones would have been my second.
Isn't it funny how we don't like if somebody asks me greatest American band, I always lean on Aerosmith. But some people like Led Zeppelin. I go, they're from England. They're not from America. So like Thin Lizzy, they're from England. So you think a lot of people don't realize, like I think Tragically Hip gets the moniker for Canadian, but Rush is there, right? I mean, you gotta say Rush. Mm-hmm. If you say the only acceptable answer over Rush, and this is how I'm gonna end the show. We'll end the show on this note. The only acceptable answer of greatest Canadian band is Bob and Doug McKenzie. Have a good day. See you later, buddy. Hey, hang out, guys. Hang out.
It's kind of cool, dude.
It's kind of cool.
Just hang out for a sec.